In this video, we're going to explore objective 1.1.b, which is orient a model view. With this, we're going to take a look at the orbit, zoom, pan, and look at commands, as well as look at some options with the view cube and setting the current view options for a model. With this, we're going to use the tube hanger model as our example. And to get started, we're going to take a look at our navigation toolbar down here at the bottom of our screen. The very first option we have to work with is orbit. So there are two types. There's a constrained orbit. Usually with this orbit, there are some different options. So on the screen, usually you can see there's some different little lines and things like that. And you can kind of notice that my mouse cursor changes in the icon there just a little bit. So this only allows me to spin around in this direction. If I go up here to the top, I can spin only up and down like this. So if I move side to side, it doesn't really do that. It keeps it constrained to that particular rotation around a specific axis and everything as such. So that's really kind of what we're working with as we take a look at a constrained orbit. When we get into this also, constrained orbit, when we're right in the middle of our model, we can do something, or I can also select free orbit. So you can see the icon here. So the free orbit is just kind of like any direction I drag, I can rotate this model around. So that's really kind of what we look at. With this, we can also create a zoom. So zooming will allow us to, so when I select the zoom option, if I click and hold down on my mouse button, I can zoom in and out. So as I move, holding down my left mouse button and zooming here, so I can either go in or out. I can also use the scroll wheel on my mouse to zoom in and out. So those are some options that we have. We can take a look at pan. Pan is the little hand icon, and this allows me to move the model around on the screen. So move it up and down, side to side. And usually what I like to do is also you can press down on the scroll wheel on your mouse and move your mouse around, and this is the shortcut for the pan command as well. Then we have something called the look at command. So the look at command, when I select, if I want to look at a particular face on the model straight on, let's say I want to select this one right here, it will turn it and turn it normal to the viewer. So as we look at this particular case, we're able to do some of those things. Now, the other option is utilizing the view cube. So the view cube labels all the different views. Right now I'm looking at the front view of this particular model, and if I want to place this back into a 3D isometric view, I can always click on the home button, or I can also click on the corner of a view cube as well. So home button returns me to top, front, right side orientation. If I wish to spin around to look at the front view, I can use the arrows around the view cube to look at the various sides of the cube. So I can look back, and I can look over to the right. I can look at the top. I can also rotate 90 degrees utilizing these arrow keys up here. So, and by selecting some of those. I can also click and drag on the view cube to do a pivot. So that's a little bit with utilizing the view cube. So if we ever get too changed around, we can always click on home and bring us back. Now, one thing that we will take a look at is sometimes when we 3D model some different items or whatever, maybe the orientation that we want to have set in the home position is not what we want, or maybe we want a different front view. So in this case, maybe I would like my front view to look like this. So for this kind of tube hanger model, right now the view cube specifies it's at the bottom. I can make some changes with that by clicking on this arrow icon and either saying to go home. I can change what kind of view I have, whether it's orthographic or perspective with orthographic faces. Most of the time orthographic is going to be the default that you're going to work with. But I can set a current view as the home position or reset the home position, but maybe I want to set this current view as my front view. So I can look at and get this position the way I want, and I want to say set current view as front, and look at what happened to our view cube. It allowed me to position that. So now if I click on the home button, look at it, still returns me back to the original isometric position, but I have top, right, and back. So here's what I might want to do is, here is my front view. I may want to click on this corner of the view cube, and maybe I want this to become my new home position. So now I can click on the little arrow, and even it shows top, front, right side on my view cube. But now I can set this current view as home, and I usually set fit to view. So now if I spin this around and I click on the home button, this becomes my new home position so that I have set. And that's a quick and easy way to make some adjustments. So if I want to reset the home position, I can always do that. So there's where it reset and went back to the original. I can also reset the front, which returns the view cube back to top front right, just as we saw originally when we started this file. If I click the home button, I'm right back to where I was. So these are just a couple of reviews for these little items. So regarding orienting a model view, and just to help us get prepared for the ACU exam and become proficient within Fusion and its environment.